Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. Yes, so in this week's video we're going to be looking at how we're going to improve our internet signal into the Caravan. Now in the past this is something that we've struggled with and we've opted for a new device, and in this video we'll go through the details about why we've chosen this. So when it comes to looking at sort of how you improve your signal into the Caravan, there's going to be lots of different options and different things to explore and see what works for you. Now one of them would be around tethering using your mobile phone, and for us we've tried that multiple times in the past and that hasn't worked for us. We're normally in remote places down on the coast, and the signal is really poor. So again, using that to tether, yes, you can connect to the phone, but the phone can't connect to any kind of signal to actually get a decent speed to be able to stream devices. So again, your video content, YouTube, Amazon Music, anything along those lines will fail. It'll be buffering, or if you do manage to get a signal, you find that it's sort of perched somewhere in the Caravan at an odd angle, and it can't be moved, and if you get a phone call during trying to stream, it cuts everything out. So again, it may work for some, but it really does depend on your location. So again, something worth trying because it's something that you're bound to have with you and worth exploring. The other option obviously is to use Wi-Fi if the site where you're staying has that, but the issue there is it normally tends to be that they have Wi-Fi coverage in the statics, not in the touring section. So again, that can be really limited. So again, not really an option that we want to go for. So again, I'll show you exactly what we've purchased and why we've purchased it. So the router we went for was the Puli AX, the model was a GL-iNet. Now they do another version which is just the X3000, and the only difference between the two is actually one has an extended battery built in and the other doesn't. And obviously by having the battery, you can take this literally anywhere. It will fire up for multiple hours, give you your connectivity that you need, without any source of power. So again, it might be something that you're after, it may not be. So again, you've got two models to choose from, but what I'll do now is I'll show you some of the features that this is capable of. So some of the features on the router, it is 5G, it has Wi-Fi 6, so it does have the latest connectivity actually on board as standard. It can support up to 70 different devices at once, and again, you won't see a performance hit based on the processor and the memory and the storage built into this device. So what's a game changer on this router is it supports up to 5 different kind of internet connections. So again, you can have a phone tethered to that device as an option. You can have a Wi-Fi signal, so if you're staying on a site that has Wi-Fi that you can connect to for free or pay for, you could do that. You could have an Ethernet connection, so if you've got a Starlink, you could connect using that port. You've got 2 SIM card slots within the device as well. So out of those 5, you can actually set the priority of what you want it to use, and it will fail over automatically if it doesn't detect an internet connection on any one of those. Obviously, it's giving you more options, but again, you have to have a source there to start with. So it does give you different options. So again, you don't always have to use stuff that you've paid for to start with. You could go for a free option or something that's included in your data plan before going down any other route. One of the other things that you might find useful is the storage capability. So next to the 2 SIM cards, which I'll show you in a minute, it has the ability to put an SD card in, and on the back obviously you've got a USB port where you can put just a normal USB stick. And again, the kind of things that you can put on there are things like films. So again, you don't have to use your storage on your devices, you can actually use this device, and I think it's up to a 1 terabyte storage you can attach to this. So think of all the music and films that you could put on that for the family, and then that would just be streamed. So if you didn't have an internet connection, again, it wouldn't actually matter. You could just use the Wi-Fi built into the router to connect to the devices and stream that content. But again, obviously it would entail you having to download it prior to going away. But again, it might be something that you build up over time. Again, a terabyte's worth of storage, that's a lot of music or a lot of films. So again, something to think about as an extra option thing to have if, like say, on a rainy day, or you want to just occupy the kids or yourself for a few hours. Again, you don't need internet connectivity to enable that. And because this is a standard router, obviously you've got all the customization that you would of any sort of home router that you would have come across before. You can set up different Wi-Fi settings in terms of 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz. You can have a private network, you can have a guest network. So there's lots of different config you can do here. So one of the other features it has is the VPN service. So again, if you've got any subscriptions to that, it supports up to 30 plus different VPN services, all the sort of mainstream. So again, you can configure your router to use that as well. So if you want some extra security or be able to access different content, again, it has that built in. So I said the model that we've gone for does have a built-in battery. It's a 6,400 milliamp battery, so again that's going to be plenty of time in terms of usage if you were to have a power cut or you wanted to take it outside the van. So again, you've got lots of flexibility on that, so certainly an additional item if you go off grid. And talking about power, obviously by default what these will come with is a 3-pin plug to obviously charge them and make sure that they operate. Now I want to be able to sort of have this in a location of my choice, and that would be more likely in the wardrobe with all the other bits that we have around the solar and so forth. But what else is in that cupboard is the Vision Plus, which has a normal DC connector, which is what this takes. So the idea is just to buy a simple 2-into-1 connection, use the existing one there that feeds the amplifier today, give me the 2 connections, so again I can use one for that and then one for the router, and then that way I haven't got to worry about the actual 3-pin plug, because 9 times out of 10 it's going to be somewhere where I don't want to set it up. So I'm hoping that will give me an extra benefit. And also if I want to go down the route of putting an external aerial on, again you've got to think about where you're going to drill a hole to be able to feed those connections, and again that'll be perfect because that's where I placed it in terms of our solar setup going through. So again, it will keep it all in one location, keep it neat, and I won't have cables everywhere. Rightio, so there's the cable. There's the cable plugged in, and you can see it's powering that up and charging the battery fine. So yeah, if you were to have a flat battery for whatever reason, this would continue until something was resolved or you were connected back up with power. But yeah, it works fine with the Vision Plus power adapter. So that's just a few of the features that this router has. What I'll do is I'll leave a link in the description below, so again you can hit the website and find out exactly what it's fully capable of, but hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea of what you can do with this. What I'll do now is sort of go into doing some speed tests and show you outside the front of our house what kind of connection you would get over a standard tethered phone over what this is capable of with the different antennas installed. Rightio, so let's start off with some tests. Obviously, like I say, I'm outside the front of my house, I'm in the city, so I'm expecting these to have similar speeds at this location, but this isn't really the true test. But I'm just interested to see what sort of speeds we do get in this location. Okay, so we're about 55. And the up speed's looking just about under 4, is it? Or 3.5, so 56.4. So the upload, yeah, is 56.4 and 3.45 upload. So that's on my phone. So let's get it in the actual router and see what the difference is between those, and then we'll stick it on top of the Caravan and see if that makes a difference as well. Rightio, so in this test obviously I'm going to be running it through the router. The SIM card is from the phone, so again no difference on that. So yeah, we'll see what the difference is between the two in terms of speed. And this is just connected via the 5G connection. Okay, well I thought they were going to be a bit closer in terms of tests, and I have done a couple of these now. So yeah, as you can see, there's quite a big difference in terms of performance just in this location. So 193.7 down and 948 up. So yeah, quite a huge difference in terms of download speed, which is obviously what you'll be trying to do in terms of streaming stuff. So I'll get it up on the top of the Caravan and see if there's a difference between these figures as well. Rightio, so it is just plonked there on top of the Caravan. So let's go back to the phone. Obviously it's still connected on that front, and let's see if we get any kind of difference in download and upload speeds this time. So as you can see from those scores there, obviously it's showing it's pretty similar when it's in the Caravan and on top of the roof, but the upload speeds are different obviously once the device is on the outside of the van. So yeah, obviously there is a difference there, and certainly a noticeable difference between the router and the phone itself. And like I say, I have done a few of these tests as well. So what I'll do now is actually going to go find an area that has a poor reception and see again what the difference is. Rightio, so I've come out to a bit more of a remote location near us, out in the New Forest, so I thought I'd just do another speed test out here and see what the difference is. Rightio, as expected, obviously out in the forest it's going to be a lot less than where we were outside the house. Rightio, so download is 1.33 and up is 275. Okay, so we'll try it in the router and see what the difference is. Rightio, so same test connected to the router, and that's one of the key things here. Like I say, just turn it on, no other battery required, so that's great. So we'll run the same test and we'll see what we get. So not a huge difference, but certainly enough to obviously get your internet. So what I'll do now is I'll stick it actually outside and see if that makes any difference for the third test like we did in the Caravan. Right, yeah, so it's just on top of the van there, so we'll run the same test and see what that brings. Right, so straight away I can see it's obviously got it being outside as expected. Obviously you're not trapped in a metal box dampening the signal, so again there is an increase in speed by having it external to the actual van. But again, if you had this outside your Caravan, you have got that luxury of being able to just move it around as and when you need it, because you have got it on battery. Rightio, so I've done a couple of tests now, and what we've seen from that is every time, obviously using the router has had a better signal and a stronger bandwidth that we've been able to use. Now in this remote location, obviously we've gone from 1 point something to 5 point something, so not dramatic, but certainly a huge increase in terms of if you were going to start streaming stuff. Now at 1 point something, obviously you're not going to get much content with that, and obviously you'll probably see a lot of blipping. At least with 5.5 meg, you're certainly going to have a better chance of that. And obviously with that, and obviously the battery, you're able to use it in different locations. So you could have that at a camping table. If you were using a tent, obviously you could use that without having to worry about any power, and still get internet when needed. But again, it's one of these things you'll have to go out and test out for yourself and work out if there's enough benefits within this device or a router to justify the cost of spending out, because obviously they are quite a bit of money depending on the setup that you get. And obviously having it external is the key. So if you were going to have one that was located in the van and go for the other model that didn't have the extended battery on built into it, then you would be really reliant on an external area on the roof of the caravan or mobile home, whatever you have. So it's definitely something to worth consider on that front. So one of the items I'll have a look at and investigate in the future will be actually mounting an external aerial actually on top of the caravan, because that's always going to give you the very best chance for success for sort of picking up on-site Wi-Fi, getting coverage on 5G, just purely because it's on the outside of the actual van. Now once it's inside, obviously you're surrounded by metal tin, or bricks in your house or in your car. So again, there's that enclosure which always dampens the signal that you can receive. So it's always going to be best to have some kind of external aerial going forward. But again, that will be something that we need to explore, because as always, there's lots of choice. And what you don't want to do is actually decrease the performance of that device. But again, something that I'll explore in the future. The other item the manufacturer offers is this eSIM. Now what this does is allow you to have one SIM card and it will roam anywhere in the world. It allows you to use an application on your phone to actually buy a data plan, and then obviously once you've done that, you just link it to this SIM. And it's really simple to do. So this is something that you could have in that router, and if you are going travelling, as an additional option for you. Also obviously it works in the UK, and again the data plans are on there, so it might be something worth looking at if you do a lot of travelling. Because again, it will save you having to have multiple SIM cards, and what you don't want to happen is obviously have a SIM card thinking that it's going to work in the location you're in and it doesn't, and then you're stuck having to go and find one. So yeah, definitely a convenience there, and I'll leave a link in the description on this as well. Rightio, so hopefully this week's video has been beneficial to you. Hopefully it's shown you the difference between a phone setup versus a router, and all the features that it can actually provide by spending a little bit more money, and actually having the features built into a dedicated device. As always, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the comments section below. I'll try my best to come back to you and answer those. And again, all the links to these products will be in the description below, the two different models with and without a battery. So again, you can explore to see if that's the kind of thing that you want to sort of go for in the future. And as always, like you say, if you want to support the channel, give it a like, share and subscribe. That would be great, and I will see you all on the next one. Cheers all.